evening. It's 6 o'clock on Monday, the 25th of September 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, bringing you the day's national top stories translated into English 6 days a week. The Parliamentary Law Commission approved the number of employees for 3 vetting bodies: the Appellate College, the Commission of Qualifications and the Public Commissioner, with a majority of votes. In total, the Commission approved only 110 out of 185 employees for the vetting bodies. The meeting of the Commission was held amid debates between the majority and the opposition members, and also among the heads of the institutions who asked for the fulfilment of the requests regarding the number of employees. The chairwoman of the Appellate College said that they are asking only for an efficient structure which will be capable of doing its duty. "We do not agree with this structure. We want a structure according to the law you have approved. We have reduced the number of employees as much as we can. We are not asking for luxuries. You are going to violate the independence of the Appellate College. People have their eyes on us," said the chairwoman. The chairwoman of the Commission of Qualifications and the Public Commissioner shared similar views. These requests were also supported by opposition members. The Vice Chairman of the Law Commission, Edouard Halimi, said that the Democratic Party not only supports the requests, but also seeks additional advisors for commissioners. The members of the Socialist Movement for Integration were also in favour of meeting the requests for the vetting bodies, but the majority did not share the same stance as them. The Socialist MP, Saimir Tahiri, proposed that the requests be fulfilled, but the SP MP, Vasilika Husid, added that the representatives of vetting bodies have asked for triple the salary that has been budgeted for them. At the end of the meeting, the opposition decided to boycott voting. The Prosecutor General, Adriatic Lala, held a meeting today with the directors of prosecutions at all levels. During the meeting, he asked for the re-evaluation of candidates for the High Council of Prosecution and the Appointment Council in the justice system to be completed by the end of this week. The development of the re-evaluation process was the focus of the meeting. Based on the vetting law, the Chief Prosecutor asked that the professional re-evaluation ends by September 29th. Also, according to the vetting law, the Prosecutor General has the obligation to support the Vetting Commission in fulfilling one of the 3 components for re-evaluation of prosecutors, the professional aspect. In the announcement issued to the media, the Prosecutor General informed that professional re-evaluations of prosecutors in the general prosecution and of local prosecutions is occurring now. An ad hoc commission has been set up at the General Prosecution to draft a final report regarding the preliminary professional re-evaluation of prosecutors. The Parliamentary Commission of National Security discussed domestic violence, criminal gangs and drug trafficking in today's session. The majority and opposition members involved themselves in harsh debates over criminality and drug trafficking. The Vice Chairman of the Commission, the Democrat MP Flamur Noka, issued strong accusations against state police directors, accusing them of collaborating with criminal organisations and of being involved in drug trafficking. Criminal organisations receive information before the police director or even the Minister of Interior. It is difficult to have trust in such police. We have an incriminated police force. International partners do not trust our state police, and the reports of the internationals show the implication of state police in drug trafficking. Even the citizens do not trust the state police. The vetting process should start with the Minister of Interior and the Prime Minister, declared the Democrat MP. The chairwoman of the Commission responded to the accusations of the Democrat MP, saying that the accusations are unfounded and that both international and local experts positively evaluate the work of state police. "There are statistics from the Ministry of Justice and the State Police. If you were to actually confront the data, you would reach fairer conclusions," the chairwoman said. The Democrat MPs also raised accusations regarding the increase in the number of domestic violence incidents. The General Director for Security and Order said that more commitment is needed from social stakeholders, offering more help and support to affected families. Despite the debates, the Security Commission approved the bill for the ratification of the agreement reached between the Republic of Albania and Sweden for the programme to strengthen policing in the community. Tomorrow, the Parliamentary Commission of Productive Activity will start the discussion for the decree by the former President on waste. On October 14, former President Nishani requested the revision of the draft law on waste imports, asking Parliament to review some articles with the argument that the constitutional principle of a healthy environment was violated. According to Mr Nishani, allowing the import of waste generates additional pollution in relation to the population and the territory of the country. The former president also underlined that the draft is in contradiction with the principles required by the European Union. Just a week ago, the chairman of the Socialist Parliamentary Group announced that the law on waste imports will be withdrawn from the Assembly and will be subject to extensive public consultation. Tomorrow, the Socialist Party's parliamentary group is expected to make a decision on the procedural steps that will be followed in reviewing the President's decree. Recently, activists from the Alliance Against Waste Imports asked for a meeting with Prime Minister Edi Rama prior to the President's decree on waste being reviewed in Parliament. Meanwhile, the opposition asked for a vote on the President's decree, and the chairman of the Socialist Movement for Integration's parliamentary group, Petrit Vasili, also asked for a referendum. Mr Vasili added that the law cannot be withdrawn as there are some procedures that must be followed. The quantity of energy imported into the country is set to reduce given the recent rainfall. During an inspection of an investment in the energy network made at the La Praca area, the Minister of Energy, accompanied by the Administrator for the Energy Distributor, declared that the situation is returning to normal. The Minister of Energy clarified that the drought during summer did not have a negative impact on the budget. Climate conditions are being improved, and I believe that there is no risk. In these conditions, and with the support of the Normative Act, the situation will be stabilised and we will not have any problems with the supply of energy. The success of the energy sector has already been proved. The system successfully handled the situation during the summer drought, importing energy to the value of 90 million lek without impacting the state budget. The operator for the distribution of energy managed to handle the situation with its own budget and a minimal support package from the state budget, declared the Minister of Energy. Meanwhile, the Administrator for the Distribution of Energy said that investments made in the energy network will improve power supply. The investments made in this area will improve the situation, and it will not be the last one we make. We will also invest in the area of Don Bosco, which will have a new energy network with higher standards. I want to thank the citizens who are paying their bills, as this is money which will be invested back into the network, he said. More than 10,000 citizens are expected to benefit from the investment that is being made in the La Praca energy network, providing a more stable and qualitative power supply. The Democratic Party and the Socialist Movement for Integration voted against the Normative Act for 2017. The Normative Act includes some changes to the budget for this year, including an additional fund of 3 billion lek for the energy sector and 1.2 billion lek for the civil emergencies. The issues were discussed at the Parliamentary Economic Commission, and the Normative Act was approved with only the votes of members from the majority. The chairwoman of the Commission, Democrat MP Yorita Tabaku, raised concerns about old debts held by the operator for the distribution of energy. But the Minister of Finance declared that the operator for the distribution of energy does not have unpaid debts, and that the changes to the budget were necessary as the level of water in hydropower generators is critical. As far as I know, there are no unpaid obligations. There may be a postponement of payments, and the Ministry of Energy has issued an order which obligates companies to slow down payments because of the drought. Revenues have been realised with 103.2%, which is 7.7 billion lek, more than our prediction. The expenditures have been realised with 98.3%. The most important thing is that the government's fiscal balance in July was a surplus of around 2.8 billion lek, even though it was a period of elections, said the Minister of Finance. Meanwhile, the Socialist Movement for Integration MP, Edmond Hajinasto, asked for more transparency regarding the objectives for economic growth. The members of the Commission also discussed the effect of money coming from criminal activity on the country's economy. The Normative Act for 2017 is expected to be approved in the coming plenary session. That's all for our English edition this evening. My name is Alexandra. Please join me again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. On behalf of Aura News, thank you and good night.